So he spent the rest of the day in the principal's office. I'm Jason.
And I'm Jules.
And
we doing filmographies.
Week 2 of
Bill Sage. William Sage.
I know. There are no girls with good personalities. Good personality consists of a chick with a little hard body who will satisfy all sexual demands without being too slutty about things, and who will essentially keep her dumb fucking mouth shut.
Sidewalk Stories.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. From 1989 also.
Yep.
This movie had a budget of $200,000. A domestic gross, $131,000.
That's impressive.
Considering. I did not know what this movie was.
I didn't either.
And when I went in, I immediately thought, oh, is this just going to be a collection of Sidewalk Stories?
Yeah. Vignettes.
Set to music.
Vignettes.
Possibly with some dialogue.
Yeah.
But then that was immediately dispelled once we started following the artist.
About 15 minutes in, I said, Jules, was your copy all music? Or do I have a different version? Because I thought maybe they tried to salvage it by just putting this music underneath it.
No, because this was influenced by
The Kid.
And something else.
Cape Fear.
Yeah. And man, I don't know. It's obviously contemporary for the time.
Mm-hmm.
But then like the guys that try to kidnap the kid, they're like 1940s, 1920s hobos. They have like painted on 5 o'clock shadows and fingers are poking through their gloves and shit.
I thought they were just like 80s homeless street toughs also
Oh,
trying
God,
to get
no.
their meal ticket.
No, these are
No?
fucking, I don't know.
Did you realize one of them was Bobby Cannavale?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you better be. 'Cause,
Do you want me to do a synopsis?
yeah, you should.
So we can just get right into it?
Yeah, let's.
Gee, I feel like people might be able to pick up on the sadness in our hearts. Sidewalk Stories. A street artist and all-around sad sack tramp, Charles Lane, witnesses a murder and ends up in possession of a toddler, Nicole Alicia. Isn't that his real daughter?
Yeah.
The artist assumes the role of nurturer for the little scamp while trying to scrape together a living and also attempt to find the child's mother, Trula Hoosier. The artist also somehow manages to attract the local shopkeep and nosy Nancy, Sandy Wilson. Well, the artist eventually prevails, and only time will tell when you're reading a Sidewalk Stories. Is that right?
Whatever.
Okay. You got facts? You already did facts?
I mean, there's some.
It's his daughter.
Yeah. Oh,
He made one more movie after this, True Identity.
he was in the movie Posse.
Do you like Posse?
No. Disney, Walt himself offered Charles Lane the chance to do a remake with sound and color. They wanted Tom Hanks to star.
Mm-hmm.
Hanks loved Sidewalk Stories, but turned down the remake, which was fortunate because Lane had no intention to remake it. This film has a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Six reviews?
Yeah. Critic reviews.
Yeah.
So this movie, man, yeah, like I said, it starts, and I like the cinematography.
It's a weirdly beautiful movie. The black and whites, it looks so good.
Yeah, because it's legit black and white.
And you're right there in New York.
Yep.
It's a forgotten time. I've never been there.
I kind of like the music right at the start, too.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just tracking down the sidewalk where there's people performing really bad performance art.
Like that awful dance. Did that guy remind you of Charlie Murphy a little bit? The guy that does the dances? Just because I feel like he's leading with his teeth.
Who was I going to say he reminded? Michael Che.
Oh.
A little bit.
Okay.
When he's not dancing and is actually more of a, I don't know, character, I guess. But Yeah, it's like a guy juggling, and the music, it feels like it's trying to line up with the action, but it's just so broad. It's like this is broadly slapstick instead of having a trumpet when he drops the ball or something. And yeah, the dude, Charles Lane, he's an artist. He draws people. There's another guy next to him, a bigger guy who also draws people.
Charles Lane's drawings are quite great.
Yeah, they're pretty stand out.
Which of course he's not an artist in this. You can clearly see like he'll do the eyes,
Yeah,
and they'll pan over and they'll pan back, and there's somebody else to do the rest of it.
well, but it is in stages, which is nice. It's the eyes, and then it comes back, and then it's like the hair, and then it comes back, and then it's like the face,
And the giant guy is also a good artist.
yeah, I guess.
And they're side by side trying to get the same people.
He's telling me, you got to get the fuck out of here. This is my place. And a guy comes by and he goes, I'll pay you for 10. And Charles Lane's like 5 and then 1. And then they keeps pushing him. And he tells the guy, he holds up a sign. He goes, you're going to owe me 50 for this. A lady all of a sudden emerges and is giving this guy like the cutie eye. And I'm thinking, how in the world did Charles Lane have enough time in the split second that has passed to hire this woman to come do this?
Yeah.
He didn't. She just apparently was like, yeah, come do me.
You're 7 feet tall.
Do
I like
me,
it.
baby.
Well, okay, so this is the very first instance of what is horribly wrong with this movie. The giant guy next to him is yelling at him for a while.
And you could see his lips. He's cursing.
Like a minute.
Yeah.
No title cards. There's no cards popping up with the dialogue in this movie at all. And there is so much talking.
And you feel their absence.
It's fucking horrible.
Right? He'll say something and then they'll just sit there. And so you're like, okay, where's it doesn't pop up.
You can't do this.
The whole dinner conversation, it's like, this is because sometimes they're pretty clear and over projecting, over pronunciating. And it's just a shot of the person, so you can kind of lip read and get an idea of what's going on. But then sometimes, like with the doorman, I mean, you get the gist, but there's a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
That you just...
That's not how you would approach this at all.
No.
And it blows my mind that people are like, this is good.
Yeah. I
mean, I get there's a lot of skill put into this movie, but it is terribly flawed in that one incredibly important detail.
Especially if you are aping a Chaplin, because I would assume I've never seen any of his movies.
No, it's all expressions, man. Charlie Chaplin doesn't have a 5-minute conversation with somebody with no cards. And then
he doesn't talk at all, I don't think, in his movie.
He do.
No, Buster Keaton, I think.
I don't think he talked at all either.
Maybe.
People talk to him.
Maybe that could be. This movie is 50% mugging for the camera, which works, and 50% acting like you're a regular movie with dialogue that doesn't exist.
And then there's like 0.5% of nudity.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Thanks. It helped.
It did.
You said I found my favorite scene.
Which was actually just when you first see her in that dress. I was like, oh. And then, even though I find women with muscles attractive, when she was pumping iron, I was like a little frightened by it.
Okay. What is that? Do I have something hanging out of my nose? You want me to snort it up?
No, the more I talk, the more my
Oh yeah, you're fucked up.
nasal passage is opening up.
Yep. You've been doing cocaine for 6 days.
I have. So here's the deal. A woman and her baby and her husband come up, and Charles Lane starts drawing the baby. And the dad, he keeps slinking away to gamble, and he's terrible at it. And the mom goes, why are you gambling? And he just slaps the shit out of her.
Yeah, it's horrible. You just
and then
see
takes
him
the baby?
wasting money constantly.
Like, I get slapping the shit out of her.
Yeah, right. So you got to do it sometimes.
But you tell her to take the baby home.
Yeah, obviously.
And then you go gamble.
Yep.
But he doesn't. He takes the baby with him, and then he's in an alley, and he gets killed. And Charles Lane is there, And even though the guys see him and he's clearly able to visibly see them commit the murder, they just push him down and run away.
Okay, two things.
Yeah.
That guy's pretty great, the guy who gets murdered.
Yeah, I love him.
He's expressive and interesting, even though I'm horrified and upset with him for blowing all that money.
Honestly, before you get to number 2,
Mhm.
his murder feels like something out of Smooth Criminal music video, Michael Jackson.
The murdering is crazy, where they're just like, it's like a big old fucking dagger. They're like, and they stab him in the back.
Honestly, the handle's bigger than the blade, but it's,
they're just robbing him because he's a bitch.
Well, I think he gambled and they want the money.
But he's out
But
of
he's
money?
broke, yeah. So they kill him and then rob him of his ID.
Yeah, it looked like there wasn't anything good in that wallet. Now, isn't that bad business?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like, take his ID and be like, give me that fucking money.
Or I'll go kill your family.
No,
And I'll take this baby.
I'll cut your pee-pee off.
Yeah. So then Charles Lane, the police come up, and at this point, because he pulls the knife out of the guy for some
I was
reason.
so upset when he pulled that knife out. Like, he's trying to help him, but it's like, well, I mean, nothing comes from that.
No, but it seems like it might, because then
Yeah.
the cops grab it, and he goes, they got the knife. I'm thinking,
and
well, it's
that-
1989. So.
And the baby, who's a 2-year-old, that's a toddler,
Yeah, she's
is
fucking the best thing in this
in
movie.
the stroller. Yeah, she's
Isn't
super
she?
cute. I like...
Not even like super cute, because she is super cute, but she's like super expressive and really seems to get it.
Yeah.
It's quite surprising. So he has a picture of the baby and the mom, and he's about to just leave the baby on the street, but then decides to keep her.
Flaw number 2 with this movie, which I guess you could suspend disbelief. You don't keep the child. This isn't the 20s where they'll go to an orphanage where they'll die.
No.
Hi, I'm bringing this to the police station.
What you do is, when those cops show up, you say, officers, I witnessed the murder. And this child, I think, is this guy's kid.
I did it. I stabbed him. My prints are on the knife.
Because even if they frame you, well, you're not homeless anymore.
That's true.
You can get by with drawing in jail.
Yeah.
Draw the warden's wife. And
Man, I think they love drawing in jail. I remember
Yeah.
my brother being really impressed with people who studied calligraphy in prison.
Yeah.
Because they would just, that's all they have. I write letters.
Well, if not for drawing in jail, we would never have had Cool World.
That's super true.
So
And a world without Cool World,
it's not a world I want to live in.
it's not a cool world.
It's a hot world, which nobody likes. So yeah, he's got the baby, and now he's just raising her. And he lives in a shithole. A ton of shit is
This
the
is
hole
like,
that he lives.
before he even gets that baby, you see his domicile. It's like in what is it, like a city building, like a
an apartment
library or something? Is that what's going on?
think
But
it's an
there's just
apartment.
like a square busted out right there off the street. You don't want to like put something in front of that so other people don't go in here?
No.
Why wouldn't people be coming and going all day long? You're in
Because
the
he looks
city.
around,
Yeah.
so nobody sees him go in.
God damn.
So they don't know you can go in there.
I thought that was fucking crazy that he did that. Set his stuff down, looked around, then goes in, and then bring my stuff in.
Because what I'm assuming is because, in the 70s and 80s, landlords in New York notoriously just torched their own buildings.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm assuming that's what this is.
For sure.
But then it gets demolished.
Yeah. This is a real hard watch.
This is an hour and 44 minutes. Would you concur with my assessment that this could have been about 30 minutes?
Yeah, when you texted me, I can't believe there's 40 minutes left. Later on, there was an hour and 10 minutes left, and I was like, I don't know
Yeah.
how I'm going to make it through this.
18 minutes in, I was like, oh, boy.
It's long.
Because there's what happens is what happens. But then there's just like all this unnecessary padding in there.
That would probably be okay if you had dialogue.
Like, yeah, right. Because
If it was a movie,
You're-
you could watch it.
a movie like this needs to just show it and go on, but not like establish building relationships through dialogue. Again, instead of actually trying to locate the woman who owns this child, One day he just walks around on a city block and looks at everybody he passes and looks at the photo. It's not her. Oh, well.
He's seen her.
Yes.
He met her.
Yeah. I mean, chances are she would probably frequent that area because that area is where she last saw her man.
Her man's been murdered and her child's been taken. I feel like there must be somebody you could go to that maybe she also went to, and informed them that her child's missing. Like maybe the police.
Oh, I
like
didn't
maybe
even think of that.
you could go to them and be like, I got this baby, and they're like, oh man, this lady over here is missing this baby. I think it's this one.
Because here's the deal: when he's walking down the street with the child, and he sees that beat cop, and the beat cop goes, "Hey, wait."
Oh no!
Her shoe's untied.
Okay.
And he ties it. I'm pretty positive that's the same cop who's then at the police station when she shows up.
I think they recycled people because there was a guy in the beginning, and I was like, oh, I think he came back.
Well, but to recycle him as another cop, I feel like he's just the same cop. So I'm thinking, okay, he's seen this child moments ago, and now she's here. He's going to be like, oh, I know that child, and it's going to move the plot along.
Yeah.
It doesn't. The mother vanishes after this scene until the very end.
It's such a bizarre... It's hard to hate this movie because it is so beautiful to look at.
Yes.
And the characters are pretty likable.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just wrong.
The love interest comes out of the blue earlier in the movie to get a picture drawn. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't finish it.
Just one eye.
She
tries to give him money. He's like, no.
Nope. But he does take it. And maybe he doesn't.
I think he gives it back to her.
He takes it from somebody.
Slips it back into her. He keeps slipping the money she gives him back into her pocket.
Okay. So he then goes to a store and just starts shoplifting for the kid. And
she works there.
It's her store.
Yeah.
She owns it. And she's aware of what he's doing, but she's just like, here, take all of this. Take everything I got.
I hate this because she keeps trying to help him, and he keeps... Why would you give the money back?
I don't know.
She wants to help you. She's not also homeless. Like when he gives...
Why does he leave?
That crazy lady on the street money.
Yeah. Why does he leave?
I don't think... He's not thinking right.
I don't know what he's thinking, man. So this is where it gets weird because I think he immediately explains to her that it's not his child. And you're going, okay, so she also isn't rational enough. But she comes off as almost...
You don't know because you don't know what they're saying.
He fingers. You know. But now, to me, this woman comes off as completely insane.
Because she wants to fuck a homeless man?
Well, there's that, but if my assumption is correct, that he does explain to her, she isn't level-headed enough to then go, well, why don't we go talk to the authorities? Yeah. But then also I got a weird feeling when later at the end where I'm like, oh, is she going to reject him?
She wants to steal children, too.
Because he doesn't have the child?
She wants him to teach her how to steal children.
The ending is something else that I'd like to talk about, but
I don't think I remember it that well, so that'll be great.
So she's basically just like, yeah, I want you to be you're my Josh now, and I'm your Adrian Shelley.
Oh.
And they meet at Burger King. And
well, I don't think, do they meet intentionally, or does she happen to just come across him?
No, they're walking by, her and her friends.
Yeah.
But they meet.
Their friends are like, oh.
Yeah, well, this guy.
You know, it's the homeless guy, right?
Yeah.
Hey, it smells.
At one point, the kid starts drawing, and immediately people walk by and are just giving him boatloads of cash for the drawings.
Yeah. And also, the lady who owns the shop is, she's a very nice-looking lady.
She is. She's strong, too. The doorman had on a fake mustache. He looked like the guy from Ferris Bueller, who they convinced Ferris was Abe Froman.
Is there a problem?
You're Abe Froman.
That's right. I'm Abe Froman.
The Sausage King of Chicago.
So I'm thinking, okay, well, that's a fake mustache. Is that Bill?
Man, I thought Bill was in the opening scenes, too.
It got to the point where I'm thinking, where in this movie could Bill even fit?
I thought maybe he was the guy who had his back to the camera when they're panning across the street, performers in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then they show the guy doing like the ballet dance. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's obviously Bill Sage. And then he takes off his hat. And I'm like, that is not him.
No.
And then, honestly, towards the end, I was like, I think I zoned out too many times, and I'm gonna have to like look through this movie again. And then within a minute, he showed up.
I looked at the Google overview and saw that he was man in carriage. So I go, okay,
We need a carriage.
that yeah. His luck is just getting worse and worse. His building's destroyed.
Can I just move this?
Yeah, he goes to a shelter. They let him in,
This is good.
and they go to have dinner at her house. She's smoking, and she's like treating the kid like her own. He sneaks into the bathroom and bathes the child.
Yeah.
And then he himself takes a bath.
But in his clothes?
He gets in his clothes, and you can see the water's super muddy because of his boots. And then he gets naked and bathes. And ultimately, he returns the kid to her mother because she sees her on a milk carton. And I'm thinking, okay, is this going to blossom into...
How does he find the fucking mom, buddy? The address isn't on the fucking milk carton.
He must call the police.
What's her? Well, hey, what's the address for the mom with the missing child? Can you give me that, a stranger?
Yeah.
I would like to. I would like to go to her home.
The bad guys do kidnap her because they want... I thought they were going to ransom her.
Yeah.
No, they want her to draw pictures for
Yeah,
them.
obvious. You
They
didn't pick
could
up on
sell
that?
that.
That was when you could see it click that they're like, she's the moneymaker.
I just thought it was like he's making money. Let's rob him, or I guess abduct this child. And that's when he jumps on a horse and buggy with two people on there that are just endlessly making out, which is Bill Sage and Edie Falco.
Correct. Also, I'd like to get back to Bill Sage, but the little girl is very, very, very upset in all of these scenes. Like, she is clearly terrified about what's going on. She is legitimately crying. It is sad.
It is. It's a little unfortunate because there's no way she's that good of an actor.
No.
So clearly they did something.
I mean, I think they probably just had those guys were probably scary. And
Well,
she's
right,
been
but I
hanging
mean,
out with Charles.
You think
the
they
whole
just
time.
like
What's her dad?
didn't tell her and they grabbed her?
No.
And she thought she's really being abducted.
I don't know. I don't think it's anything that nefarious. I think she just was scared of the situation. She's like 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bill Sage is up in that carriage.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh man, Bill Sage. He's
Yep.
just kissing. But
Yeah.
he's there
He slips him with some money to keep going,
after a while.
and that's when the carriage guy catches up to him. And he's just like, "Oh, here's your money," and he leaves.
And he's like, all right, that's fine. Thanks for the money.
Yeah. So, ultimately, he gets the daughter back to the mom. Nothing comes from that. He just leaves.
But I almost thought maybe they would be a family.
I was thinking that. I was thinking, oh, okay, because that other woman is clearly insane and bad. He does fantasize about having sex with her, at which point you see his wiener.
That's a fantasy?
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't actually have sex with her?
No, she goes, "You could stay." And then he looks at the camera,
Oh, yeah.
and then cut to her just curling weights in her bed. And then he just takes off his robe and his dick is there. And then he jumps into the bed. And then they keep flip-flopping, and then you see her tits.
Her tits are really great.
Yeah. And then he comes back, and he's in the hallway. He goes, "No, I'm going to leave." So then he's just in the park at the end because he doesn't have the kid anymore.
With the other homeless people.
Yeah, but specifically just he's there. And she just comes up with a bag full of sandwiches. Wearing the biggest pants known to man. They're like proto-raver skater pants.
There's a lot of big pants in these movies. Robert John Burke had some real big pants in that last movie.
So she gives him a sandwich, and it seems like there's a weird disconnect between them now.
You got no baby.
Right, which is what I'm wondering, but they don't really mention anything. And he's eating his Sammy. She's eating her Sammy, just looking like, And then all of a sudden, this motherfucker turns to the camera, and he goes, "Hey, you got some money?" What? What the hell?
Did you reach in your pocket?
He's talking now?
Yeah.
When did this occur? And then the lady goes, I'm crazy too. And then this other guy goes, yeah, I'm homeless and crazy as well.
Quarter, nickel, dime, something. Hey, quarter, nickel, a dime, anything. Hey, you know what it's like to be homeless?
And the movie ends.
This isn't cute and fun. We're hungry. We're cold.
Yeah.
It's bad out here. You got some money?
Yeah.
Give me some money.
I thought this actually, probably because there was an hour and 42 minutes of non-dialogue film before this. So when that hit, I'm like, whoa, this is powerful.
Fucking whoa.
Holy hell. They talk now? But I don't know if this message, if this movie can put a message like this out there. If it's earned it. After making homelessness seem kind of whimsical. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh no.
I mean, it's a commentary on like what we just saw, right? Though it's like, all right, just kidding, it's not.
That they're voiceless. Silent majority.
Well, I think we generally completely ignore them and don't hear their voices
Yeah, except for the hour and 44 minutes that we just spent with them.
without their voices.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I don't. That would have been so much more powerful if this movie wasn't this movie.
because they seemed homeless. He just seemed like he was lazy,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I mean, I think back then, I kind of think that you could get by doing some street work
Sure.
and squatting or, you know,
Yeah.
living somewhere super cheap.
Oh yeah, those Burger King burgers were only like 40 cents back then.
Because, I mean, he's not mentally ill.
Nope. Well,
I wouldn't say he's a hustler, but like, you know, kind of. He's doing his own thing to get by.
well,
he
but
he could do more and have a stable life, but he doesn't want to.
he's virtuistic. He's like a saint. He doesn't want free stuff, except for when he takes free stuff, and you know he wants to earn his wage or whatever. What do you think happens to them after this movie?
Who?
Him and that lady.
They never see each other again.
Yeah, probably.
I hate this movie, and I wish that I didn't hate it. And there's a lot of cool things going in it, but it's so wrong that I hate it so very much. It was a very unpleasant time.
Yeah, it asks a lot of you. It's
It doesn't-
very long.
But it doesn't earn.
No.
I can't believe people were so taken with this.
White people.
So brave.
Mm-hmm.
So brave.
Oh my God, Black Lives Matter. I don't really want to like this movie, to be honest, but I can see wanting to like it
Yeah.
and liking it, I guess. But it just wasn't enough for me. It was too all over the place. It needed maybe more of a timeless element to allow the suspension of disbelief.
I think if you had just done the silent movie thing, we would have been like, well, that's pretty good.
That too, but I mean, like with the black and white and some of the elements feeling older than they were. I mean, the whole husband getting murdered thing, like I said, like that smooth criminal feeling I'm getting, isn't specifically the music video so much as like the era in which the music video seems to be.
Well, yeah, they're
Right.
pulling that Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin stuff. That's what, when you would see the
Yeah, but then you see the gap in two different Burger Kings and a breakdancer, and it just sort of feels like I don't know.
I don't like this movie. What do you give it for a number?
A 4.5. I'm kind of joking because I gave that other movie a 4, and I wanted to see if you'd catch that and get angry.
I'm giving it a 5.
Oh shit. Okay.
I would love to give it a 6. I never in a million years would I give it a 6. I'm going to
Yeah.
give it a 5.
If you give it a 5, I'm going to give it a 4.5 then.
Bill Sage, I will give you a... I mean, what do you...
I don't know.
You gave him a 7 in the last one.
I did. Because it was, man, I don't know. In that brief moment, I was like, oh, that's a slice of Bill right there.
I mean, whatever. 7 again. He's perfectly likable and good, and it doesn't stand out as bad or stupid. He's making out pretty hardcore for a while.
And
then he's like, here's that money.
Considering the time when this movie came out, he doesn't feel super young, though, either, oddly enough. When I look at him, I see the same guy that I see in High Art.
Sure.
Which is interesting to me. I'm going to give him a 6.
Okay.
So that's it. We're on social media.
YouTube, Facebook, Reddit,
Instagram,
MySpace. We doing filmographies.
Yep.
You can find us on emails too. We doing filmographies at gmail.com.
Yep. We've got a hotline.
763
634
1897.
Scorching hot.
When you call that number, you're immediately transported to this basement and you get a warm beer in your hand.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's warm. What else? Oh, Now Playing Network.
Yep. NowPlayNetwork.net.
Head on over to the nowplayingnetwork.net.
Tracks of the damned. Those goddamn tracks. Yeah,
I'll see you next week with another Hal Hartley Trust.
Oh, The Man. Part 2.
Oh, Trust. Adrian Shelley, Martin Donovan.
Okay.
I've been Jason.
I've been Jules.
And Papple Dapple.